Okay, so this is the kind of like a summary of the current. So what you see that emitter current is basically is the sum of both collector and base current. So always emitter current, what is that flows into the transistor BJT is basically is always greater than the collector current, right? And we can relate the collector current and the uh, base. That's one using a that's a we call as a common emitter current gain beta factor, which is depends on to the onto how does the device that's a BZT is being made fabrication. So that depends on to the doping concentration, doping profile, as well as concentration like those parameters that we have discussed before. And we can relate collector current with an emitter current within a factor that we call as an alpha, which is a common base current gain. So we can this is a relation between these two. We can find it out. Beta is equals to alpha 1 minus alpha, and this alpha is always less than 1. So that means is always around 0 between 0.9 to 1, and this beta is as for standard transistors, right? This is between 50 to 300. If it is for high power application somewhere, maybe that can go up to the higher values. But basically, the standard BJTs that we go for the amplification for the amplifier purpose, it is between 50 to 300. So I think this is how does look like. So convention to represent BJT is by this symbol that you can see. That the base, the current is, so this is NPN. So the current which is coming out from the emitter, basically that dictates, that tells about that it is an NPN type transistor. And if it's the current that goes into the emitter, so that's basically, so here the what you see the majority would be basically the electrons, and whereas in this case the majority charge case will be the holes here, right? Because of the PNP. In the case of NPN, so what we are going to learn, so this is a kind of base. So to make it this into being a amplifier purpose, let's say for that application specifically, we have to make that base to emitter junction has to be forward bias, base to collector to base junction has to be reverse bias. So it means we need to connect the positive terminal. So this junction has to be reverse bias, and this junction has to be forward bias. Then the transistor, all right, so this will be set into the active mode. So whether it is active mode or not, so sometimes we keep on increasing this amplitude, right? You can keep on increasing signal amplitude, input signal amplitude. The transistor may also set into the saturation mode. That may happen. So that's we are going to look in today. I think this is what I already told you about all. So this is a very simple kind of like a this is very simple circuits, which is, let's say you have one resistor. So right now I'm not focusing on to that. So what kind of like a combination resistors we do it for, like you're doing in experiment. You have voltage divider kind of like a circuit into that the base terminal, but let's say this is on a one resistance RB and this is connected to the battery. So and emitter is, so this configuration we call as a common emitter because emitter terminal is grounded. So if you look into this, and so and the output that we are measuring across the collector, and this you can see the collector to base junction is in reverse bias because you connected the positive terminal to connect it as into the collector. So that's makes the it's into reverse bias, whereas this in forward bias. If your battery, what is the DC supply, let's say VBB here, if it is greater than, if it is a greater than VB on, less VB on because it's a PN junction. So if it is a, we consider as a 0.7. If your battery is VBB is greater than, let's say, we have slightly different notation as instead of like we do for PN for the diode. So that's we call V gamma, but it's the same thing. So VB on, which is your, let's say 0.7. If this battery is the power supply is greater than 0.7, this makes you the forward bias, and this so it means you are going to see the flow of current. But on the other side, this has to be in reverse bias as well. Suppose if this VB is the battery which is connected less than 0.7 volt, in that case the this PN junction won't be on, like this won't be turned on. So in that case, what's going to you're going, so no current will be flowing. If your input voltage. So I'm just saying VBB is, let's say this is because the termination. So this is nothing. This is the input signal. So input not signal, input voltage, let's say, which is connected into the to make its forward bias. This input voltage, let's say the battery, if it is less than the this VB on, in that case there won't be no current will flowing, so IB would be 0, and once IB would be 0 means your IC is 0, and simply the output would be your the VCE, which is your, or this is nothing, is the V naught. It would be simply given by the VCC, right? So that will be the VCC, whatever you applied, whether it 5 volt, 10 volt, or 12 volt. So that's we get it. VC will be your VCC, right? And one more thing, if your VC, that's output voltage, if it is become less than VB on, then the simply it's it means that base to collector junction become forward bias. If let's say VC, this is the output voltage, become less than VB on, in that case transistor actually becomes forward bias, like base to junction, base to collector junction become forward bias, right? So it's not in, so it means that suggests that it is not in active mode. So transistor is not in active mode, so basically it enters into the saturation mode actually. If output voltage become less than 0. Let's say VB on voltage, so it's simply entered into the active mode, that we see from the, let's say, characteristic soon. So this is kind of like a summary for NPN and PNP. So this, I think this we have done it. Okay. So if we look into the current voltage characteristic of a common emitter circuit, so where we plot output versus also collector current on the y-axis, and on the x-axis we have collector diameter voltage, which is nothing. This is an output voltage. This is your output voltage. So this nothing is the output voltage, and this is for the different values of the base current. So if you're, so this region is specifically this region, what you see here. If I draw a line onto this, so this region specifically and region here. So this region is what we call as saturation, and on the axis, the green one basically is nothing, is in a cutoff. What's happening? This is cutoff, and this region what you see from around this number, this is all the for different values that has been plotted. So what else? So as I mentioned, if it your VCE, if the output voltage is greater than the VB on, so it means that it is in an active mode. As soon as VCE has become less than VB on, so it means it goes into the saturation mode. As soon as V is become less than the VB on, transistor goes into saturation mode. And if there is no collector current, it means if IB is 0, so that's the first, second. If IB is 0 means IC is equals to 0, so that means your output VCE is your VCC. So if your VCC, let's say 10 volts, so it intersect here. So at that point, if I take up any VCC, if I take a 10 volt, for example, Then this region below this one is all is a cutoff mode. Yes. So this is, so it means this region is a third, second is a saturation, and the first one is your this forward active mode. And what else it has been observed, because this was an experimental, so what has been observed that the output characteristics, right, this output characteristics is a certain finite slope. It has certain finite slope, and this slope which has been basically, it was observed by J.M. Early because of the base width modulation. That's mean as if you look into the this is emitter, and let's say this is your base, so this is emitter, base, and collector. So we have, this is less depletion region. Okay, so it might be slightly broader depletion region. So what we have, the depletion width is this, right? And since you're changing the voltage, if you keep on changing the voltage, what's going to happen, this base width, right, the base width actually it's get modulated, slightly changes. And this because of the base width modulation, what's happening, that it has a certain finite slope. It has certain finite slope, so it means if you find out 1 over r naught, so we can get it, then we can obtain the output because this is an output characteristic. So if we take a kind of like, if we just find out the slope of this curve, if you find out the slope of this curve, 1 over slope can give us the finite output resistance, which is r naught, and that's actually, though this value is very small, though the value of finite output resistance R naught is very small, but it plays in a very significant role when you look into its amplification characteristics. So the another point which to be noted here, that if we just extrapolate this uh, kind of like a characteristics toward the next towards the x-axis, so what's going to happen, so it's going to meet, and let's say all this is, since it is a finite slope that meets at a point, and which is on the negative x-axis. So this voltage which we call, which is only we call this voltage as an early voltage. This voltage is called as an early voltage, and this number is, this goes between around 50 to 300 roughly, and this is a range of this early voltage is greater than 50, is less than 300 volt. So that's and because of the base width modulation, so that's if we have slope, so it means if I find out r naught, so I can find, the change in output voltage divided by change in current, so that gives you the, that gives you the r naught, and we can find out by just differentiating this expression. We can, so it means the collector current is now, so initially collector current with it was governed by only by this. Since it has a certain finite slope, so the correction has been made. The correction factor is nothing, this is a 1 plus VC over VA, and if you take the VA to be large, quite large, in that case this can be, it will be simply can be written as an IC equals to IS exponential VB over VT, and R naught we can obtain by this one. So that's basically, if we do this one, if I just take a del IC over del VC and then make it just inverse of it, so the R naught we can express actually in terms of the early voltage VA over IC. So that would give you the value of finite output resistance at a constant, of course, at a constant voltage. So VB is nothing. This is your related in terms of the IB base current. So okay, it is written here. Let's look into the okay. So let's look into this circuit. Where is the simple circuit? Let's say, so if we solve it, let's say if we just we can express this also, we can redraw, not express, we can redraw the circuit as an since it's in a battery, and simple way to, because this and this in a PN junction, so it's let's say represent within a This is common emitter, so this is your emitter, this terminal is collector, and this terminal is a base. So this is a symbol that we, and this symbol which I have drawn it, basically it is in a with a current, so current gain basically. So because this collector current is nothing, is a beta IB. So beta is a common emitter current gain, and this input is your giving signal into the input into the base terminal. So that's the reason this is this beta IB is nothing, is an IC which is flowing through the circuit, and you're taking the voltage across. It means we are taking VC. So this is a VC, and this one is nothing. This is a here VB on. So that's roughly we can think of as an kind of like a, you can replace something like a this, right, V gamma or VB on, and this is an RB, VBB, and this is VCC, RC. So right now I have not connected any, there's no resistance or no resistor has been connected to the emitter terminal. So if we write down, let's say, so there's a two loops now. So this is the input and this is an output. So this is your input. So you're giving right now just for the DC, because there is no AC or transient source is present, just only right now DC. So let's say battery, and this is if we, what we are doing actually finding out only the DC, and we are doing this DC analysis part. So if we write down the KVL in input loop, that's base to emitter, that one. If we write down, so what we can get it from here, that's your VB minus IB into RB minus VB on equals to 0. There is no right now. So this is IE which flows here, and this is your base current IB. Right. So that's this will give you the, we can find out IB, which is nothing VBB minus VB on over IB, and same way we can do for KVL in output loop. That's your CE, since you are picking up the output from the collector, right? So we can in this case VCC. So write down in the KVL in the output loop. So that's VCC is equals to IC RC plus VCE. So that means VCE is equals to VCC minus IC into RC, right? So that's nothing, this is an output. So this is nothing, this is an output V naught. So if you're for these two equations, I think these are two equations which determines the characteristics. Of course, your IC is related to the beta into IB. So as I mentioned to you, if your IB is a 0, so the base current is 0 when, let's say, when this voltage which is applied to the forward to this base to emitter junction is less than the 0.7 volt or VB on, as mentioned. So in that case, IB would be 0, IC is 0. So it means your output VC would be simply your terminated to the VCC. And if you look into the base current, so that's VB minus VB on. So that has to be, so that means current won't be flowing. So IB would be 0. So as per this, so whenever, so we, as I mentioned, there is in the characteristics here. Okay, so this is whenever you have a, that means VB battery which is applied is less than the VB on, your IB is equals to 0, IC is 0, and you are connected to this. So if we assume certain numbers, of course, if we assume some numbers to this for this one, let's say consider 4 volt. If I consider, let's say, 4 volt of the battery, and if we consider 10 volt or 12 volt, let's say, so can you find it out quickly? If I just give this number, let's say this is a 4 volt which is connected, RB is a 220 kilo ohm, RC is, let's say, 2 kilo ohm, and VCC is, let's say, 10 volt, right? And VB on is equal to 0.7 volt, and beta for this transistor, let's say consider right now 100, and beta is, we take it as 100. So can we obtain all the current that's flowing into the circuit, all current values, as well as output voltage? Can we estimate? Yeah. Can you try out? Can you please try out? Let's say this is what is given. Yeah, can you try out? Please try out for, let's say 4 volt, RB is 220 kilo ohm, and beta is 100 for this transistor, NPN, and VCC is 10 volt, RC is 2 kilo ohm, VB on is 0.7. Find out, let's say, all the current values, find out the base voltage. So it means what you need to calculate. Okay, so
Sir, can you show the previous slide?
is it no? Okay, yeah.
Okay, sir.
So okay, so you need to find it out. So what we have to calculate, I'm writing here. IC, IB, VB, VC, VE, okay, IE, and VCE, the output voltage. Let's obtain all the current values, all the voltage values for this circuit. You have calculated with you, so just find it out. VB on is take it 0.7 divided by 220 kilo ohm. Yes.
So 15 microamp.
15 microampere. Okay. Fine. And then IC. IC is beta IB.
1.5 milliampere.
1.5 milliampere. VCE.
7 volt.
Is a 7 volt. You can 10 volt. Okay, 10 minus. Okay, so 7 volt. Okay. So what you see here? What you observe? If I look, okay, this is just only the output voltage right now. So you can find out IE also. So IE would be simply IC plus IB. So that's what we can find out 1.5 plus 0.015. So that will give you the IE. And what else? Actually, I ask you to calculate VB. Right, so please note, because we are reading two kind of like a subscript notation here, so it means VBE is nothing. This is a voltage difference, potential difference between the two terminals, base and emitter. So since your emitter terminal is connected to the ground, so it means your VBE would be your simply VBE, so which is your 0.7. And if you want to find out collector voltage terminal, so that will be your VCE is nothing, VC minus VE. So it means your VC is nothing, it's your VCE, right? That will be your at same voltage. So, and VE of course at 0, ground potential. So what you see here, from this example, what you see that VCE is greater than VB on, right? So this is some roughly, and if I just make a plot, if let's say something like this, maybe I know what, but let's say this is corresponds to IB is equals to 15 microampere, right? And so what you see at the output voltage is somewhere 7 volt. So the maximum is it can go up to the 10. So let's say the maximum can go, this is a 10 volt. So this is 0 to 10 volt. And if I draw a line, so I'm just drawing a, let's say, line here. So if I draw a line, so this is somewhere here. So what you see, this is corresponding to at point, not the 7. So the 7 is will be the intersection of this point. This should be 10 volt actually. Okay, I did the mistake. So let's say I put on 10 volt here, and this is somewhere point corresponding to this. So this, and since on this VCE, and since at the, okay, I'm going to introduce the Q point. So sometimes we represent this as the quiescent point, the voltage. So that's your output for this. So this is your 7 volt in case, and the collector current which you get it is your 1.5 milliampere. So this is nothing, this is at this point ICQ. Now you can see that as you, okay, now what I'll do it here. So let's change the, let's change this input voltage. Instead of 4 volt, let's have 8 volt. Let's have this 8 volt. So situation 2, let's do it for the same set of parameters. Now instead of 4 volt, now let's say VBB is your 8 volt. Let's other parameter remain the same. Let's all other parameter remains the same. So just change the VB to 8 volt. So in this case, just let me the IB, and then of course IC, and then VCE. Yes.
So IB is equal to 33.2 microampere.
33.2 microampere, and IC
3.32 milliampere.
3.32 milliampere, and VCE
3.36 volt.
3.36
Three.
volt. Right? This is okay. So let's do it for plot it for this graph. So we have the another characteristics. So where the IB was 33 microampere, roughly approximately 33 microampere, and now VC has moved. So this is point has been moved. So let's say this is 3.36. Okay. So small change once again. Okay. So what you do here, either you change the beta to double it, or what you can do, change the VCC. Let's say either you change the beta list, make it 200, or we can, okay, so you get 10 minus 3 into 4. So, or maybe RC can change it. So keep it the same. So, okay, so what you do, let's say you keep the everything remain the same situation. Let's say do it VBB is 8 volt, and let's say RC make it 4 volt, and not 4, sorry, 4 kilo ohm, and BB is 8 volt, RC is a 4 kilo ohm, beta is 100, and then VCC you take is find out for 10 volt, and let's say also 12 volt. Let's see what you get in that situation.
RB is the same.
RB is the same. RB is a 220 kilo ohm. We keep the same. RB is the same 220 kilo ohm. You keep RB the same 220 kilo ohm. So let's do it for so let's say VCC is for 10 volt and VCC is for 12 volt. So what you get IB, and what's the VCE in this case, and what is the IB and what is the VCE? Can all people try out? Because that will make you understand what we do in the experiment. That's what's mean by the Q point is certainly located, whether we are entering in a saturation mode, whether we are into the signal handling capacity, right? That's a maximum voltage that can be. So what you see the distortion into the output voltage as you keep on changing the input, right? Changing the input voltage. Yes. Yes. Sorry.
So
It's not
VC coming negative.
for which case this for VCC 10 volt. How much is IB?
330 same 33.
Okay, is it remain the same 30? Okay, and but the VC would be changed, right? Because 4 kilo ohm, right? How much is now VC? How much is the VC in this case?
Minus 3.28.
How much minus
3.28.
Okay, now so what you see here, minus 3.28 28 volt, right? Minus 3.28 volts. So what's mean that we are already somewhere is a less than 0. Now in this is so it means for this set of parameters, now transistor would enter into the saturation mode. Transistor would enter into saturation mode. So what does mean? Let's say what you've done for VCC 10 volt, beta is equals to 100, RC is 4 kilo ohm, and RB was 220 kilo ohm, right? So for this set of parameters, okay, I should have, okay, for this case you get IB is 33.2 microampere and VCE, which is an output voltage, minus 3.28 volt. So that means that your VCE is now less than the VB on. So it means this BJT is in saturation mode. This BJT is in saturation mode. So what does it mean? That if I have on the same, let's say 33 microampere, but what has been changed was changed into RC. So this point has moved. This point has been moved actually. So this might be the case. Okay, this is not the good graph actually making it. Let me draw it once again here. Okay, I can show better somewhere here onto the graph better. So where it is. Yeah. So what does mean that if, since you can see this was a, let's say I fix this 10 volt here, so I put up the line here. So in your one situation, you had somewhere at this point, you are somewhere here, and then some situation you somewhere here for this. So keep point, this point is keep on moving, right? And keep on point moving, and somewhere you are entered already here. So that's the maximum collector current, you will get it. Okay, that's the maximum collector current, will get it, but the transistor is now into the saturation mode. So no, it's not more anymore, is in a forward active mode. So in that case, it is we call it since output voltage now become less than. So for the NPN transistor, for this kind of NPN transistor, this saturation voltage which has been measured, actually which has been measured, so V saturation voltage, VC saturation is always so this VCE saturation voltage is between always 0.1 to 0.3 volt. So it means if the saturation voltage is given to us, if the saturation voltage is given, let's say you consider that, okay, this is put up into the active mode. We started the analysis considering that all this, whatever you got it, the base current from by using a KVL loop in input as an output, and we obtained that the base current is this much number, and then we got the output and then determine those we consider this is in a forward active mode, right now in forward active mode. But while doing it, all the circuit analysis part, we find out, we obtain that the output voltage now it's less than the VB on, so it means it's in saturation mode. And if saturation voltage is given to us, let's say the saturation voltage is given to us 0.1 to 0.3, any number, for example, if I say VC saturation is for this is a 0.2 volt, so it means your, if the input if the output is less than, if this is, so we can keep this number VC saturation, so we can find out IC saturation, let's say, or IC current corresponding to IC, let's say saturation. It would be simply VCC minus VC saturation divided by RC. So that was a, in your case this is a 10 minus VC saturation, let's say is given 0.2 divided by RC is 4 kilo ohm. So that would give you the saturation volt current, saturation IC saturation, right? So once we know, so, and we considering that IB is your, let's say this is what you get 30, let's say 33.2 microampere. Can you just tell this number? 9.8 divided by 4.
2.45 microampere.
How much? 2 point. So that's
2.45.
2.45 milliampere, right? So IB is this one. So what we can means if I just find out the ratio IC over IB. So if I find out the ratio of IC over IB, right? Find out the ratio of IC over IB. So that's a 2.45 milliampere divided by your 33.2 microampere. If I do this one, so what's the number you get it? So there is a, because your collector current is related with the base current within a term, common emitter current gain IB, beta IB. So if I just find out this IC over IB is equals 2.45 over 33.2, can you just quickly tell what's the number?
73.79.
So 73. So it means, let's say 74. So this is not, so it means if I had to pick up, so it means for this set of values of the resistors, right? The 4 kilo ohm and VCC is, let's say 10 volt, RB is a 220 kilo ohm, RC is a 4 kilo ohm. In that case, the transistor would be in 4 active mode if we pick up a transistor which has a beta less than 74. If I, so this is we generally call as a beta force or nu. So it means one has to pick up a different transistor. So I have to just take out the transistor from the circuit and put up the different transistor, right? Either this way or what we can do it. Okay, if we change any of the let's say the resistor or the power supply, then we can make that transistor to work into the forward active mode, right? Did you get my point by this? So another point that's we also do it that how much power is being dissipated into the circuit. So since your transistor device, so that's basically we obtain, that's where it is. There's no blank slide here. Okay, so that's the power that's dissipated in transistor is simply would be given here by the input IB VB on plus IC into VCE. Since this component is much less, so IB is much less than the IC. So the we can write down power dissipated in the transistor would be simply given by the IC into VCE. So if I do for, let's say, any of the circuit here, any of the circuit in this case, let's say this is not for saturation mode one, but others one where you got a 7 volt, let's say VC, and you got a 15 IC was 1.5 milliampere. So we can get it the power that is going to be dissipated into the device transistor, right? So this is one and part, and another one. So it means, okay, now if I make small change into the circuit, right? So this is a power dissipated in the transistor. Right, so let's make a small change and we can continue. Then I will come back to the, let's after the break. So I not given any resistor into the emitter terminal. Let's connect a resistor into the emitter terminal now. This is VCC. Let's consider this 10 volt and let's say 2 kilo ohm RC, RB, which is your 220 kilo ohm, and this is connected as a to the let's say it's a 4 volt. So we take the same example, and now it is connected to the, so this is RE, which is your, let's say 2 kilo ohm, right? And beta we take at 100. Beta we take at 100. So let's please try out, and then we have this 5 minutes break. Okay, we'll meet assemble at 9:05. Was it not okay? So right now is 8:55. So we'll assemble it. Let's say 9:05. So we have a 10 minutes break and then continue with this here. So please try out this problem and find out all the once again parameters. Let's say current, all the current values, the voltages values for this circuit. So can you write down, let's say, KVL for this circuit for input loop? So this is nothing. This is circuit which is I think this is where circuit, yeah, having a RE. So that's RE. So the current that flows, so IB RB minus VB on minus IE into RE, right? So what you get it, minus IB RB minus VB on minus IE into RE equals to 0. Right, so basically IE you can correlate with the IB is 1 plus beta. So IB, so that's so if I just find out IB, the base current would be your VB minus VB on divided by RB plus 1 plus beta into RE. That would be your base current, and right, and VCE output loop. Yes, the output loop. VCC minus ICRC minus IE RE. Right, so have you got the numbers for, let's say, for this set of parameters? Anyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
IB is 7.8 microampere.
Okay. And VC, you can assume if you want, because IC and IE are almost same, so we can assume that IC and equal approximately IE, but it's not that big change. If beta is given, so IC is IB is known, so I can find out IE also. So that's can find out what's the number. Yes, anyone?
6.86 volt.
6.86 volt. Okay, fine. So we are done for the two circuits. If I just draw it, let's say we had this is 10 volt taken 4 kilo ohm, 2 kilo ohm, 2 kilo ohm. Okay, 2 kilo ohm without meter, 4 volt plus 4 volt to 20 kilo ohm, and IB was 15 microampere, beta was 100 here, and IC was 1.5 milliampere. VC was how much? 7 volt, right? Approximately 7 volt. And for this circuit, R is 2 kilo ohm, beta is 100 plus 10 volt, 2 kilo ohm, 220 kilo ohm, and plus 4 volt. IB got an how much was 7 point something, said 7.8 microampere, 7.8 microampere, and IC beta into IB, so thus you can get it, and VCE is your 6.86 volt, right? So what you see in the equations?
Sir,
Yes,
hello, sir.
yes.
Sir, I'm getting VC as 3.14.
Which one? This case?
Yes, sir.
For
Second.
you're getting VC is a 3 point. Okay, so
14.
what is IB? Have you taken this in your calculations? IE 7 volt to 6.86, because this RE is there, right, in presence of this ICC minus ICRC minus IRE.
Okay, sir.
Check it out. So VB on divided by RB plus 1 plus beta and RE, and this case IB was your VB minus VB on divided by RB. So what you see between these, the difference between these two equations? Yeah, what do you see? This factor. So what you see here, it means if there is any variation that may happen, as I mentioned, suppose your device may get bad, maybe you choose a different kind of like a transistor which has a slightly different beta, maybe 95 or 90. But in that case, it is, even if you're changing the, let's say, if, okay, let's do it just an example, I think that's better. Let's do it, only change the beta. Let's say beta, you take it 80. You take the beta 80, and then in that case, you find out IB, IC, VCE. Rest of the parameter remain the same. You change the beta only. You change the beta, rest of other parameter remain the same. Yes.
8.64 micron.
8.64 microampere. Okay. We see other current parameters you can obtain, just not issue, but let's say calculate the VCE.
The 7.23 volt.
7.23 volt. Okay. If this has not been the case, what's going to happen? Suppose this was not been the case. If we have done for let's say this circuit, which is without RE, in that case, if the beta could have been 80, so I think we can just make a comparison. So this is, let's say, for this kind of circuit, RE present. So if I make a plot, I think this is what I'm trying to make you understand. So let's say this is the characteristics for transistor, and we have the, let's say this is load line, that's I'm going to discuss. So there's a variation, right? This PQ point keep on changing. So I didn't change any other parameter. What I'm changing is only, so this point is fixed, this point are fixed, so that's a load line. So what are the point is going to change? Basically your on the load line, this point. So there is not, you won't see that so huge change, right? Is a 7.23 here, and this is 6.86. Thus only we have taken only one RE right now, and in your experiment which you do, actually there's RE1 and RE2, and then we bypass capacitor because for AC gain stability. I think that we'll understand when we do the amplification part or small signal analysis part for the BJT. Right now I'm doing only DC analysis part. So what you see, same way you can fill up this table, and if we compare for this set of for this circuit, let's say if we have the IB and IC, only 3 parameters, just you do it for BC. So you can try out for this circuit also. So you'll find out, since the beta is present in the denominator of IB, so basically it's compensating, right? It's kind of like a compensating the any variation that may happen. So that's provide a kind of like some stability into the onto the circuit, right? So what we understand, I think I'd better just show you the load line part. So the load line basically is help to visualize the characteristics of a transistor circuit. So as what was saying to you, so these are the, let's say if for a transistor, let's say for different base current values you plot it. So you have the this is an output characteristics. So this is an output and this one is the input. So this is input. So input is basically your there's no RE right now into the circuit. There's no RE connected. So basically it's a simple circuit, whatever you have drawn it without RE, sorry. And this is your VBB and plus VCC, RC, RB. So for this one, so what you get, IB is your VBB over RB minus VB on over RB. So it means these two extreme points can be find it out. So the maximum base current would be simply VBB over RB, and this on to the x-axis is in a VB which is connected. For example, 4 volt. So this key point is going to change. So this is the line which intersect the characteristics, right? For here it is in a simple PN junction characteristic B junction. So which is ideal. This is not ideal, but simplified model. But actual one, it's going to be something like this, the actual one. So let's consider simplified model. So it intersected point. So those intersection point is we call as an quiescent point, like a still kind of like there is no variation, but quasi kind of like we call as a quasi. So looks like a DC condition. So the current corresponding to the at the Q point we call as we represent with the IBQ. Q correspond to means like at the quiescent point. So if you look into the output characteristics here, if you look into the output characteristics, basically it's IC would be your simply VCC over RC minus VC over RC, right? So if we set IC 0 and then VC would be simply your VCC, so that's a condition of the cutoff. And if your IB or IC is, let's say VC is becoming saturation, so that point is your, I think that what we have discussed. So that's your basically 0.1 to 0.3 is the saturation. So this is a saturation mode and this cutoff. So what you can see that the Q point can be changed. So this Q point can move onto this, right? So this key point can be, let's say this point is moving and here. So this can be your any point. It may turn once it reaches to this point. So it means now transistor is in cutoff mode. Though it is there is a positive, right? There's a forward bias. Though it is in a battery is in a positive connected terminal to the feed. So though it's a VB, the battery is less than VB on, but it's not kind of like a kind of reverse bias, but this is into the forward bias. But the voltage which you apply to the terminal is much less than the VB on, so it means transistor won't be on. That it won't be a kind of like a turn on condition. So it will be somewhere here. It will be somewhere onto this side. So in that case, IB would be 0 and IB 0 means IC would be 0. So output will be restricted to the maximum, the voltage which is connected to the collector terminal, that's the supply VCC, right? So the key point can be moved up and down. So whatever you're doing into the experiment, actually I think I explained this also. last time also. So is keep on changing the input voltage, right? Since you are bringing the sinusoidal signal, right now I'm in DC, but keep on changing the input of the amplitude of the input signal, sinusoidal signal. So what's going to happen that we are entering somewhere, hitting into the saturation mode. We are hitting into the somewhere in saturation mode. There's a maximum current that will be, so the output signal, amplified signal, started getting distorted. So having a kind of, instead of having a kind of like a, okay, this is input and then this will be output in this case. So if it is, so this signal started getting distorted. So because it's entering into the, so the maximum voltage that goes is entering into the saturation mode. So that's the you see this. So we can understand this also by using a, okay, so I think this is what I was saying to you, and I think I just also discussed with the help of an example. I also discussed along with this example when VCE is become less than the VB on, so that's mean that's in saturation mode. And then if the saturation voltage is defined to us, if it is given into the numerical exercise, if it is defined, then we can obtain for the new beta that would support me like that, the circuit would support that to be in active mode, right? The new value of beta, so that's beta that I mentioned, we can call it now beta force or beta new. So that's simply we can find out IC is in saturation. All right. So okay, I think I'll come back this to let's say, just hold on. So how we are going to do this one? So we make use of piecewise linear model of PN junction. So simplified model I have we consider, but and if we consider kind of like piecewise, which is in a having a VB on, that's 0.7, and the, let's say if it input resistance of dynamic resistance, if we take forward resistance RF, that we can also do it and assume transfer is in false. So we start with the analysis that transfer is in active mode, so that you can apply, you can just write down this KVL loop, you can write down this input as well as an output equations. That's I mean to say. So you can write down input and output equations considering this in active mode, and then judge what you need to judge here to find out whether the output voltage, if it is an output voltage greater than VB on, so it means the assumption which is an active mode is correct. If your VC is less than VB on, then that case it's or simply say that it's in saturation mode. So we need to find out. So we need to find out the another parameters like I did it. So find out the saturation. So once or if VCE is less than VB on, right? So it means this is in a saturation mode. This is in transfer is in saturation mode. In that case, so the output voltage V0 is simple, or VCE would be given by the VCE saturation. So we just find out the, for a given circuit, find out saturation current, that's maximum collector current that can be obtained. So if it is for a simple circuit, it is VCC minus VC saturation divided by RC. And once we have IC saturation, we can just find out the ratio, that's a beta nu or beta force should be your IC saturation divided by IB, and IB is the same considering because it's in a that junction, that emitter to base is on forward, is a forward bias, so considering that will be given the same base current, so we can find out beta nu. And once we have, so we can say okay, and if we have to work out, find out, so maybe in design parameters when we design the circuit, so this will be a quite useful analysis part. So I think okay, so this is for, I think, simple circuit. I did it for, we did it already, and this is for PNP. So in the same way we can do for the PNP, input loop and output loop, we can find it out. So the notation, what you will see that is now instead of VCE, it's now EC, and instead of VBE, it's now EB. Just to distinguish that it is, yes, we are discussing for PNP. So just we reverse the notations here. So VB, and in case of NPN transistor is written VB and VCE. So it's I think remain the same. Okay, so the another important, So where is here? Okay, so this is where I think this is all 4 quadrants. So forward active means is where I think and saturation, inverse active, cutoff. Right, so I think this we have discussed. So okay, no, yes. So this is a voltage transfer characteristics for NPN. Let's say this is circuit which is given here. So what we see here, input versus output. So this is a output and this is input. So output voltage something this VCE, and this is which you give input. So what's going to happen? So as if you look into the first step, if your input voltage Vi is less than VB on, if your input voltage is less than VB on, in that case your transistor would be in, what is going to happen? Input voltage is less than VB on, so it means your IB is 0 and transistor would be in cutoff. Transistor would be cutoff mode. In that case V0 would be your, that's VCE, would be simply given by the VCC. VCC is here the, in this case it is a, let's say for these numbers it is a, let's say 5 volts, so it's a, this region is now right. So what's happening, just hold on. Okay, so okay, so this is in cutoff region. This so output is restricted to your this one. So as soon as Vi becomes greater than the VB on, as soon as it becomes greater than on, VB on, let's say it's 0.7 volt. As so in that case, yes, as soon as it's on, so we get the Vi is greater than 0.7 volt. The transistor is on, so is sometime okay. Also, this is a new notation, so kind of like Q1 is generally used as a kind of a symbol for a transistor. So N means for NPN, and if you written P, so it means a PNP, right? So the Q1, so it means Q1 is on, transistor is on, and we can just apply your find out the base current. So that's your simple for this given circuit. I think you can write down the same equation. So Vi minus VB on divided by RB, and we get an IC beta into IB. That's your beta Vi minus 0.7 divided by RB, right? That's an IC, get it? And VCE, we can find out VCE also. So we can write down VCE, we can obtain. VC is a VCC minus IC RC. So IC is your this number minus beta Vi minus 0.7 divided by RB and RC, right? So this is all the fixed. So VC is a fixed. So what is the V plus here? And beta is a parameter. So if your VC saturation is, let's say, given here 0.2 volt, if VC saturation voltage is given to 0.2 volt, right? So it means the output is now restricted to between the VC saturation VCC. So if this is a 0.2 volt, so this is not saturation. So basically it goes in between these two. So we can find it out. So if I know, okay, when let's say V0, when V0 is 0.2 volt, so it means we can find out input voltage Vi. So if I do this Vi calculation, so if I just substitute for let's say these given parameters, if V0 is 0.2 volt and beta we can take 100, we can take and beta can we can take it as an 100, and if we work out, so basically what we are going to find out, we are going to find out the value of Vi input voltage. So for which, so it means if the input voltage is greater than, for these numbers actually 100, so if Vi is greater than 1.9 volt, the transistor would go into saturation mode. So transistor would go in saturation mode. So transistor will be always in active mode if your input voltage, if the input voltage is greater than 0.7, so it means at the so the input voltage which is feed into the transistor, if it is in between 0.7 or 1.9 for this example, it would be in active mode. So this will be in active mode. So this will be your simply in active mode. And as soon as the input voltage goes beyond 1.9 volt, this is going to be in a saturation mode. So what's happening actually? So let's say you have the Q point somewhere here. You got a Q point into the circuit. So let's say okay, I think let me draw it once again somewhere here very clearly. So this 0.7 and this for given parameters was 1.9 volt, and this is V0, this is Vi, so is the voltage transfer characteristics, right? And this is 0.2 volt, so this region is saturation, cutoff, so this is region is cutoff, saturation, and this is an active. This is an active mode. So now let's say assume, let's say you had the some Q point. Now when you look into the experiment, I'm not sure they started or not, but it says that Q point is suitably located or not. Since you're changing the input voltage, right? You're changing the input voltage, keep on changing the amplitude. Let's say frequency is a fixed, but we are changing the amplitude of the input voltage, right? So it means we are moving onto this line. We are moving onto this line. So if I do it, let's say let's say this is the input. It's not a very good drawing. It's the input signal which is feed, and what you get it since this you get it amplified signal. So this is output signal and this is the input signal. I'm just giving the idea of the sinusoidal variation. So this is an output. Now what's happening, let's say take up a point, we are somewhere here. Somewhere here the Q point is moved because we increase the voltage amplitude in such a way that, right, you have now condition in such a way that you're giving input signal like this for this one, but if you look into the, because there's an variation, so what are you going to see obtain? So at this point you're going to, because it's saturation, so you can started looking into a kind of like a distortion into the output characteristics curve. This phase change is always this going to the output is always a 180 degree in phase change, and because I think this we are going to understand when we look into the is amplification characteristics when we do the analysis part that time, but this is always in a phase change of 180 degree. So if I give the input like this, output amplified output, so it means whenever you're doing the experiment, you can check it out. I think Sony also through the first step that you keep on changing the amplitude. So it means you are moving the Q point somewhere onto this line, and somehow the BJT is entering into saturation mode, and then you started having a saturation. So it means if we have given a kind of like a signal which is now to be amplified as a voice signal, which is to be amplified, it may not be amplified in a correct way, right? So there is going to be distortion into the output signal. So one has to be very careful. One has to be very careful that the Q point should be suitably located. So that's a point, a Q point to be located suitably. Suitably means that if it is in a somewhere in middle, always a good. So if it is somewhere on the middle of the load line, middle of the load line, it is always a preferred. So it means the output voltage V0 has to be greater than VC saturation and should be less than the VCC, right? So it means suitably located, that will be output voltage, that will can be range, right? So if it is a V0, if it is, let's say, if it is a 10 volt, if it is coming to 5 to 6 or 7, is still okay. So that's the reason that you see in the examples, right? That's see in the examples when we discuss the circuit, right? We are getting, if you're 10 volt, we are getting around 6 or 7 in getting the output voltage, right? So it's a much less than the is much less than this VCC, but greater than the VC saturation. So we can say that, yeah, in that situation, your Q point is suitably located and the transistor is in active mode and can give a kind of like a reliable amplification to the signal, right? So without any distortion. So that's a point. And to find out the signal handling capacity, signal handling, which I think I discussed also. So we have to see that that the signal should not be distorted. So as soon as it distorted, so it means this to be byte. So the maximum voltage, input voltage that can be applied to the BJT for a given circuit, and the output should not be distorted, right? So the maximum voltage that can be handled by that for the BJT for a given circuit. So in here, what we do into the circuit, into the lab, I think you can do the DC analysis part now. That will be a good exercise also for you. So let's consider only DC, and I'm just doing the DC analysis part for that circuit. VCC, RC, R1, R2. Let's consider with the RE1 right now. Right, and basically you're giving a sinusoidal signal here within a capacitor here. So for DC it is open. So basically, so we need to find out, let's say for DC analysis part, basically this is the circuit which one has to do it. So since it's a voltage divider circuit, so it's a voltage divider circuit, you can see it's in a voltage divider circuit. So at this point, the Thevenin voltage equivalent would be your R2 by R1 plus R2 into VCC, right? And the Thevenin equivalent resistance RTH would be your, simply R1 parallel to R2, right? So it means I have the circuit something like this. VCC, RC, RTH, VTH, RE1, and then you are obtaining V0, that's your VCE, right? So can you write down the equations? Can you obtain this? Can you write down the loop equations, input loop and output loop for this circuit? Yeah, please do it. Can you please write down? If you have any questions till now, please write down the, let's say, input loop. And if you remember the numbers of the R1 and R2 from the experiment, and let me see, I think in the meantime. So R1 you take 47 kilo ohm, R2 you take it 4.7 kilo ohm. R1 is 47, R2 is 4.7. So basically, (47 kilo ohm), R2 is 4.7, RC 6.8 kilo ohm, and RE1 0.33 kilo ohm, or VCC is 12 volt, beta you take it, let's say 100. Though it is not mentioned in the experiment because it is not required. Yeah, can you obtain? So this is R1 is 47 kilo ohm, R2 is 4.7 kilo ohm, and then RC is 6.8 kilo ohm, RE is 0.33 kilo ohm, VCC is 12 volt, and let's say beta is 100. So what is the VTH for this number set? Thevenin equivalent voltage. What is this one? Yeah, anyone?
1.09.
Sorry, how much?
So 1.09.
1 point
1 volt.
1.1 volt. Okay. Okay, good. So you can see is a 1.1 volt. So it means your the voltage VBB, that's nothing. This is here. This is greater than VB on. Right? Is on. So now is the transistor is on. Okay. RTH. R1 parallel to R2.
Four point 2.7 kilo.
4.27 kilo ohm. Other can check it out. Okay. And now you obtain the, let's say, so it means the voltage which is now at this, the base is now 1.1 volt. And if you've done this simulation with the experiment, try out the simulation in the using Falstad or LTSpice, you'll get the same thing. So can you see the what is the VCE actually? If you know the IB, you can calculate IB. So since beta I have given, so let's consider it's an 100, standard one. Output voltage So your IB would be your VTH minus VB on, which taken 0.7 divided by RB. RB means RTH plus 1 plus beta into RE. So that's would give you the base current IB, and then you can find it out. VCE VCC minus IC into RC minus IE into RE. So what is the IB? You got it 1.1 minus 0.7, so you get it 0.4 divided by RTH 4.27 plus 101 into RE 0.33. You can check it out. Just see the number.
10.6.
10.6 microampere. Okay. Okay, fine. Then I see beta into IB. So beta is 100. So that's a 1.06 milliampere. Okay, and then IE would be your 1.06 plus this, so 1.16. So we can just find out the VCE. So VC is a 12 volt. How much?
Four point four.
4.43
volt.
VCE. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a 4.4, right? So roughly nearly half. So I think for the circuit, because RE1 is, I have omitted RE1, RE2 also. So I just taken RE1, but so it means what you see from here that VC is around 4.4 volt, which is greater than the VB on and is a positive. So that confirms that the transistor is in active mode. That's the first confirmation. Second confirmation that it is a Q point is certainly located or not. So it's much greater than the VC saturation volt and smaller than the much smaller, less than this VCC, right? So it means the Q point is suitably located for this circuit actually. So right, so why did we go for this one, R1 and R2? I think that's I'm going to continue tomorrow, and so we'll do also numerical exercise on this. I think I've done 2 or 3 numerical exercises, so basically it's remain the same. So it just parameter, circuit parameters would be just might be different, but so basically we are going to understand why we go for the voltage divider biasing. So I just gave you an kind of like a circuit you've done already. So why did we go for voltage divider? Why couldn't we make it single base resistor like we had started an example? So I think that will start tomorrow. If you have any other questions, can